Welcome back, everyone, to the Champions League Match Week 2 predictions now. Big match week this week, a few massive games. Obviously, the group of death going on as well. We'll see the likes of Real Madrid and Barcelona, how they can carry their form over to the Champions League. And then a few big games for the English clubs who need some important wins. Very, very excited to see this match week goes. Predictions-wise, last week I managed with 12 points, so not great, not too bad either. A spot on results, so I got a 3-pointer there. The RC Lyon versus Sevilla game, I predicted perfectly, the 1-1 draw there, so happy with that. Save the prediction points in this one. If you guys don't watch the Premier League one, the point system works. 1 point for the correct result predicted, so win, loss or draw, and I get 3 points, so I get the scoreline bang on. So decent first week, but I was hoping better for myself, but hopefully we can make up for this week with a few more points and a few more bang on predictions. Let's get straight into the video. Start on Tuesday night, and it's Union Berlin hosting Braga. Union haven't won it all in the last 5 games, so been underperforming a lot in the Bundesliga. But put a good effort up against Real Madrid in the first week. Workman-like. I know Real Madrid haven't been as clinical in the front lines, but a 1-0 loss there keeps them alive in the group, and was hoping going to give them some form to continue on with. But outside of that, it's going to be helpful playing at home. Braga had a great, solid performance versus Napoli. They're back-to-back wins now in the league, scoring 4 goals in both games. That comes in handy as well, a bit of form carrying into this one. But I feel like, Union's first home game ever in the Champions League, just the performance they put up in the first week will give them confidence. I feel like at home they're going to get the job done. It's going to be a tight old game. I think Braga are the better team on paper, better team form-wise, but you can sort of throw the form book out the way a little bit, especially in a team like Union Berlin in their first game in the Champions League at home. So I've got them winning 2-1, but it's going to be an absolute classic, this one. Our next game takes us to Austria's RB Salzburg hosting Real Sociedad. Back-to-back 4-0 wins now for Salzburg. Obviously, the win away from home versus Benfica in match week 1. I guess the handball there from Benfica helps them out. 10 men Benfica, so it's a good result no matter what. You got some really, really high quality performances going on there at the moment. Again, though, league performances versus Champions League are much different competition. They come up against a Real Sociedad team that are, had a great resilient performance against Inter in match week 1. Showed signs. Again, the league haven't been that great, but 3 wins on the bounce now for Real Sociedad, so going in the right direction. It's if they can carry this form away from home. It'll be interesting to see how they go there. I just feel like, again, another similar to the first game, the home form, the home environment is going to be the benefit of Salzburg. I've got them winning an ugly sort of 1-0 game, because I feel like this game, the goals are not going to come as easy as we think. Our next game is Manchester United hosting Galatasaray. Interesting sort of matchup. United, obviously, form-wise, you can throw their form book out at the window. We thought they were back against Crystal Palace midweek with a dominant performance, and then another dominant performance, but unable to score come the weekend. A 1-0 win versus Burnley, backing off a 4-3 loss to Bayern Munich. So there's signs, and then there's downs and up throughout the whole season. But I guess that's where cup football comes to a benefit for Manchester United. Bit of bounce back FC here, a chance to prove themselves again at home. Another home benefit to go to Old Trafford's always hard work on a European night. But I feel like cup football has been the best football for United at the moment. Their league season's done and dusted. Basically, it's just be competing out of that 4th position. But cup competitions where they can show their best, the likes of Casemiro's, the likes of Rashford, they're good in sort of single match in situations. So a cup game like this would be a great situation. And considering they play some good football at times versus Bayern Munich, confidence will be up, and versus Galatasaray team, obviously in great form at the moment, undefeated in the league, great start of the season. The quality of players I brought in, like to Zaha, who's got his first goal for the club now. These sort of players are going to lift their quality of their squad. The Icardis, all these guys are there, they've got quality there, so you cannot be underestimated at all for Manchester United. But I feel like the home form that United normally have, take away the last 2 losses, but they haven't lost in a while at home other than those 2 results, and also just the ability and the need to bounce back, I think will get them over the line. I've got them winning another ugly game, 2-0. Our next game from that same group is Copenhagen hosting Bayern Munich. Obviously, Copenhagen remaining top of the Danish league at the moment, but have a mix of results, including their 2nd loss of the season against Michelin, their rivals there. But it's a team that was interesting match week 1. probably not to the levels I thought they'd be at. Obviously, I don't watch all the league, so I sort of watch that game to see where they're sort of at and gauge where they're at, and not quite as quality as I thought they were going to be. Looking at the Bayern side of things, they've been again up and down as well. A strange sort of performance versus Manchester United. I know that Tuchel wasn't on the sidelines, but to concede 3 goals for United side, who was struggling to score 1 goal against the Crystal Palace side, says a lot about their sort of current point in time. Harry Kane is smashing the goals, picking up where Lewandowski left off a few years back. But the goals are in this side. It's just that they're conceding goals as well. A 2-2 draw versus Leipzig last time out as well in the Bundesliga. So they'll concede a goal away from home, but I think they have too much attacking quality. I've got them winning the game 3-1. But don't get me wrong, it could be another Manchester United occasion where they will score 3 or 4 but might concede 1 or 2 as well. Important to note that they are going for a record now. 17 away games unbeaten, going for the 18th, which would tie the record, I believe. So exciting sort of record-breaking appearance this time out for Bayern Munich. Our next game takes us to France. It is Lens versus Arsenal. Lens, a team that have had an awful start to the season, but got back-to-back wins down the league, and a handy point match week 1 away to Sevilla. Sevilla obviously a hard place to go and travel in Europe, so important they've got that point there, and hopefully you can carry it on and make that impactful for looking most like, I guess, like a Europa League position qualification. Coming to Arsenal, a team now I think finally hitting their straps, a massive 4-0 win on the weekend versus Bournemouth. Obviously previously the 4-0 win against PSV in the Champions League match week 1, so they're getting goals back in them despite all the injuries and the turmoil with all the goalkeeper chat. They've kept their head down, they've knuckled down and got great results. And going away to Lens, the performances that Lens have put up so far this season, I think Arsenal will be a cakewalk for them. They might put a bit of rotation of squad in as well, but I still reckon they'll put them to a sword a bit. I've got them winning the game 3-0. Just too much quality for the underperforming Lens side at the moment. Our next game takes us to the Netherlands in that same group as PSV hosting Sevilla, a team that's been very, very impressive in the Eredivisie at the moment. They are killing it. PSV, 10 goals in the last 3 games, so goals are coming aplenty at the moment. They play that attacking style of play. They play expansive style of football, which hurt them against Arsenal because they got exposed in the counter-attack and playing that high line a lot. But obviously it's working in the Eredivisie. They're bossing games, they're dominating teams. Come over against Sevilla's side, who I can never judge. I mean, from Europe to league performance, they're all over the place. They played a heroic sort of performance, losing 1-0 away to Barcelona most recently. The Sergio Ramos own goal there being the difference in the game, but they defended very stoically. They played very, very solid at times, and under a lot of Barcelona quality, they held on to only concede 1 goal, being the own goal. So impressive performance there. They might have produced another similar performance in this one against the PSV side in the form they're currently in. Hoping they can play some better football though, play a bit more on the front foot. Interesting to see how they will adapt in this game. They didn't perform as well as I thought they would in match week 1. I thought they'd try and boss the Lens side, who were very underperforming. Since that first match week, I think they've got a bit more sort of grounded a bit more into the season. It feels like Sevilla, so hopefully they can bring it up to PSV. But I think in this one, I think the PSV's attacking output will be too much. So I've got them winning the game 2-1. The penultimate game we'll touch on for the Tuesday fixture is Napoli hosting Real Madrid. Napoli in decent form as of the late. Obviously, the 4 goals in the last 2 games they've both scored. An important win versus Braga away with that 88th minute own goal, securing that win. So an important, great start to the campaign. A team again that has had a lot of off-the-ground drama with the likes of Victor Osimhen. Obviously, the moving away of Kim Min-jae, the managerial changes. So I think important they just get results early on in the Champions League to just secure themselves the next round, because by then hopefully their team will be a bit more solidified and down to pat here. Looking at Real Madrid, well, they're just a team at the moment. They're just working workmanlike. It's a very Carlo Ancelotti style where they're just grinding out results. It's 2 goals or a single goal in each game, it seems, at the moment. Obviously the previous 3-0 win versus Girona put them back top of La Liga. Obviously the one loss only so far in the Liga this season, but they're just being clinical, like to Joselu, Bellingham, just getting important goals at important times. And even look back to Bellingham's goal versus Union Berlin, it came sort of out of nothing, a quiet sort of performance, and then just bang, there comes a goal, and there they go, there's a result. Obviously still waiting for a lot of players to come back. Vinicius Jr. Should be back not too long from now. I'm liking the work of Tchouaméni in that midfield. I think the new generation is finally coming through there. Tchouaméni, Bellingham very standing out. and just Hossley right now is just doing what he was brought in to do, just poach goals where he needs to be there. So Real Madrid are workmanlike. They'll probably get another result here. I've got them winning 2-1 away from home. Don't be wrong, going away to Napoli in the Champions League is one of the harder places to go, so going to be a tough place to go there, but their experienced players I think will shine through. I wouldn't be surprised if Bellingham gets on the score sheet once again. Final Tuesday night game is Inter Milan versus Benfica. Inter right now playing some great football, and it sort of came to a halt last week with a loss to Sassuolo, but they bounced back well against Salernitana, winning there with Lautaro Martinez bagging a lot of goals. I think it was 4 goals in that game, so top performance for him. He's in form at the moment, and as far as Inter go, probably the most front-footed side in Serie A at the moment, scoring goals for fun it seems, and they'll take this full momentum and dominate Benfica, who are a team that are going to be without Antonio Silva with the handball there that cost him the red card in match week 1. They're very Di Maria focused at the moment, which I think is not a benefit for them. They're very one-way sort of aggressive attacking style of football, so easy to shut down. I think Inter will put them to the sword in this game, especially playing at the San Siro. I think they'll win this game 3-0, and it'll be very smooth sailing for them against a Benfica side who are not as good, I think, as we currently thought. The Wednesday fixtures now: Atletico Madrid hosting Feyenoord. Atletico are doing very, very impressive as of recently. The big derby win, 3 wins in the trot since that devastating draw versus Lazio. Obviously, we all seen it. The goalkeeper comes up and heads the ball in the back of the net, so devastating sort of result there for them. They host Feyenoord, a side who arguably for me were one of the most impressive standouts for me, the teams that I don't really know much about, playing very, very well versus Celtic in match week 1, a 4-0 win over Ajax recently, and 3-1 versus Go Ahead Eagles. So the form is there, the goals are there for them at the moment. I think they just come against Atletico Madrid, obviously playing away to Atletico Madrid at the wrong time. I think the two teams right now on the up, but I think Atletico, their quality of player, the manager, Simeone, and just the form at the moment will be too much for Feyenoord. I reckon they'll win this game 3-1. But don't get me wrong, Feyenoord could be putting up a good fight early on in this game. Our next game takes us to Belgium. It is Antwerp hosting Shakhtar Donetsk. And obviously Antwerp beaten up badly by Barcelona, and this followed with 3 0-0s in a row. So quite strange. It leaves them 5th right now in the league, and just a hard book to read. A team that seems to be quite right now just underperforming and just lacking a bit of confidence and form. Come up against a Shakhtar team who've also been a bit off it as of late. They're outplayed by Porto, which is unsurprising for me. I thought they'd put up a better fight against Porto, make it a more closer game, but Galeno and Taremi dominated them in that game. They've only won 3 of their last 6 league games as well, so a bit all over the place. 2 teams out of form, and for me it just screams a 1-1 result. Antwerp, again, home form might help them out here, being at home, but again, a hard game for me to call. I'm just going to go 1-1 with just 2 teams that are out of form and out of touch at the moment and struggling for goals, it seems. That now takes us to one of the most exciting games from this match week: Celtic hosting Lazio. Celtic obviously remaining undefeated in the league after a dramatic 96-minute winner versus Motherwell in the Scottish Premiership. They'd say top of the Premiership there. Underwhelming performance versus Feyenoord in match week 1 for me. I thought they'd put up a better fight. I highlighted it as one of the more exciting games to watch, but obviously the early red card was just dictated off the park by the Dutch outfit there. I'm very interested to see how they'll bounce back here. Performances haven't been great of late, but it's always hard when you get a new manager and a new system in, and a few new players here and there. You've got a Lazio, obviously the dramatic equaliser, as I said earlier, versus Atletico Madrid. A point that'll be very, very important. Hopefully they can get to the qualifying stages, but that point may be important if they need to get into Europa League football as a third place team, or obviously into the round of 16. So it'll be interesting to see how that sort of works out for them. Again, another mix of results with a mixed bag here. They're hard to rate at the moment. They've got a draw, a loss, and a win recently in all their performances. So hard to really tell how they're going. I think just the home form once again. Celtic, those fans will be up and about for it. They'll play some more expansive football at home. I think they'll just nick this game 2-1 versus Lazio. Takes us now to Germany. It is Dortmund and AC Milan. Interesting game as well. Obviously, the group of death, all the games are very interesting. still undefeated in the league. They've gone, won the last 2 games after a disappointing performance versus PSG. So Dortmund are going to try and find their feet. It feels like they start the season off quite interestingly most years, and then end the season off interestingly as well. So if they can just keep this form going in the right direction, they keep producing better results. Obviously the bounce back versus that PSG performance, where I was quite underwhelmed and expected a bit more from them from that performance. They were not as good as I thought they'd be. They just got countered very easily and not as solid at the back as I thought they'd be. So coming up against an AC Milan team who've been great in the league, obviously the one loss in the league, but more importantly, I guess a disappointing 0-0 against Newcastle in match week 1. They dominated that game. They dictated Newcastle off the park, but just couldn't find a way to put the ball in the back of the net. And that's going to be an important point. I think their defence in the midfield is very strong. It's if they can get goals. And obviously it comes a bit easier in Serie A, but in the Champions League with higher quality teams in this group of death, they're going to need to score more important goals. And as a result of this, I feel like it'll be a 1-1 result in this one. Both teams not highly scoring teams. Dortmund on the way up, AC Milan just doing what they do best. But away at Signal Iduna Park is a very hard place to go. So AC Milan uphill battle, but I think they'll just have enough quality in their team to get a result in this game. So 1-1 draw for me. That leads us to the other game from the group of death, Newcastle hosting PSG. Who would have thought PSG would be going to Newcastle 3 or 4 years ago? Obviously, at the moment, the Toon side have been up and about. Obviously, the 8-0 win versus Sheffield United, and quality performance have come since almost that AC Milan result. It was a confidence-boosting performance, despite not playing great. The result was massive. A 0-0 away at the San Siro is a big deal for them. They've carried this on, and obviously we'll hope to kick on against PSG, a side that's coming now to Newcastle a bit out of form. They've drawn against Clermont-Foot and they lost to Nice recently, so they're now currently 5th in the Ligue 1, just showing the damage that the loss of Neymar and Messi can do. Obviously, a whole new sort of front 3 there, so it will take time for them to amalgamate. But the result in match week 1 was promising signs. It was Mbappé at his best. It was a strong defensive performance, and that midfield dictating, I think, Borussia Dortmund off the park there. So if they can bring half that performance, I think they'll beat Newcastle. I think their quality is just too much for a Newcastle side at the moment. But don't get me wrong, Kevin De Bruyne has mentioned how hard it is to play there at St James's Park. It'll be interesting to see how PSG go and how they travel away there. But expect an exciting matchup. I think I've got PSG just winning this game 2-0 just because of that extra quality, just because of the extra pace they've got on their side there. But don't get me wrong, it could be an upset up for grabs here with Newcastle playing at home. We come to Leipzig versus Manchester City, the German side. And Man City seems to always feature each year in the Champions League, it seems. And Man City always get the benefit of them and get on top of them in most games. But in this one, Leipzig obviously a great sort of form recently, coming from the Champions League result, and including just the massive draw versus Bayern recently. Obviously that 2-2 result, Bayern coming back to score both goals in the second half there. So they'll be disappointed that they drew in the end. But against a Bayern side, I think a team like Leipzig, they'll take any result against a Bayern side. As I said last time, I'm very impressed with the likes of Xavi Simons at the moment. The up-and-coming superstar looks like he's fitting in quite nicely at the moment at Leipzig. And then we come to Man City, who lost surprisingly at Wolves on the weekend. So the loss of Rodri there was clear to see his impact on the team, but he will be playing this game. The Champions League ban is not there. It was only a Premier League ban, so good to have him back in the squad. I want to see more from Erling Haaland. I feel like we're being so harsh, and he always scores goals, but his impact has not been quite there at the moment. It seems like Alvarez is picking up the slack. Phil Foden's played very well, so interesting to see how Pep responds. I think they'll come back feisty and want to win this game. Obviously losing out in the Carabao Cup, losing in the Premier League, so now they're going to come back with vengeance, it feels like, and they could smack around Leipzig. Going away from home is always hard work, but I feel like for Man City, they're just a workman-like team. They'll get the job done. I've got them winning the game 3-1. Don't get me wrong, it could be very, very dangerous, and if Haaland gets angry and wants to score some goals, it could get a bit ugly there for Leipzig. Our next game is Red Star versus Young Boys. Obviously, Red Star were very impressive match week 1, leading against Manchester City at 1.1-0, and were workmanlike to only concede 3 goals, and very resilient at the back there. A few keeping errors leading to goals. So probably the most surprising package out of week 1, the effort they put out there. They got back to winning ways in the last league outing, winning 1-0. So they're coming in with a bit of form, a bit of confidence after their first match week. Versus a Young Boys side who were outplayed by Salzburg in the first match week, and Obviously, going away to Serbia is going to be hard work for them. Going away to Red Star's going to be tough work. They've obviously suffered their first loss in the league since their first match in the Champions League as well. So the form at the moment, not quite great for them. Haven't travelled well in the past. So in this game, I've got Red Star winning 2-1, but a hard game to predict considering I don't know much about both teams' league performances at the current point in time. And now our final game. It is Porto hosting Barcelona. Porto, a team who suffered their first leg defeat versus Benfica last time out. Unfortunately, red card there, 10-man, and Benfica got the 1-0 win. But very impressive match week one. Galeno, Taremi, Jamie as well in that first match week, getting on top of Shakhtar. So they played a very impressive game, and for me stood out as one of the stronger sort of performances from the match week. But they come up against a Barcelona side here at the moment, probably playing the most attractive style of football in La Liga. Xavi's side of Conte on the break there. Conte a threat for teams. I feel like they'll be too strong in this game. The performances of their youngsters, performances of their experienced players at the moment have just got them in too much good form. They're too much of a strong side. So I've got them winning this game 3-0 over Porto. Obviously backing off that 5-0 win versus Antwerp in match week 1, it could get quite ugly here for Porto if Barcelona start clicking. So that, ladies and gentlemen, brings this Match Week 2 Champions League predictions video to an end. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. It is a bit last minute, very busy this week, so hopefully the edit stands up and hopefully the quality of the video is still of a high level for you guys. Make sure if you enjoyed this video, guys, remember to like, subscribe, comment, share the channel with friends. We're doing more of these prediction videos with the Premier League, with further Champions League match weeks, and we're doing more football content in the next few weeks as my schedule frees up. Make sure you guys enjoy the second match week of the Champions League. Cannot wait for some of these games, and enjoy the rest of your day, guys. And I'll see you guys very soon. See you later.